Nothing of interest. A bunch of rags. A piece of black cloth. There are traces on it. It's the cape worn by the killer. Richard, why?
You're already here? It's good to see you. Did you have a nice trip? I hope that your stay in Los Angeles was a success. Vic, you look strange. What's going on?
Richard, I know you're Mark Ackerman's grandson.
It's true. I found out when my grandmother died a little over 2 years ago. It was such a revelation for me. At that point, I'd pretty much given up on my career as an artist to focus on running the gallery. Mark Ackerman's work moved me deeply.
But you always said that you only discovered Ackerman's paintings recently. Why lie?
Well, because of the art director. After the auction where he bought some of the paintings, he made himself out to be the genius who exhumed a forgotten artist's work. I didn't want to lessen his moment of glory and risk alienating him. The gallery needs funding, you know.
I found a page of Governor Ackerman's confessions in one of your drawers. Were you the one who went to see Inspector Harrison under the pseudonym Zarkovic?
That was an innocent bit of subterfuge. I was going to return the documents.
I found a black cape in the closet. It looks remarkably like the one the killer wore. There's still blood on it, in exactly the spot where I wounded him.
I don't understand how it could have got here. The murderer must be trying to set me up. By casting suspicion on me, he gets at you.
In that case, you won't mind me taking this cape to have the blood tested. I could also have a little look to make sure you don't have any trace of a wound.
Come on, Vic. Don't you trust me? It's me, Richard. You're Richard.
I did trust you, but that's impossible now. Richard, I may have quit the FBI, but I'm still a profiler. My gut tells me I'm not wrong. It's you, Richard. You've committed these horrible murders. My heart can't believe it, but my head knows it's true. You're not saying anything. Why, Richard? Why all this madness, this hatred? I need to understand.
Open your eyes, Victoria. Let me show you something.
Agent McPherson? Agent McPherson, are you all right?
Sorry, Garrus. I was thinking of something else.
James Hawker's about to arrive. I'm going down to meet him. Can I leave you alone? Are you gonna be all right?
Everything's fine. I'll be right there. Come on, get a hold of yourself, Vic. Man, this room makes me nervous. Sealed. There's a trace on the railing. Someone was hurt here. Anderson's blood. He must have had a nasty encounter. So, his disappearance was the killer's doing. The painting blackened by soot. The outlet looks fine, but some of the cables have suffered heat damage. An old surveillance console. Fisheye 460 F01. Seems to be working still. It's turned off. Looks like someone tried to repair the console without success. Nothing. Charred videotapes. Looks like the fire started here. The dumbwaiter shaft has been sealed.
Hi, partner.
I'm going to leave you alone for a bit. You must have so many things to say to each other.
We have a suspect. David Carson. We're making progress, Garrus.
Amazing. We're gonna stop him, you'll see. You can't evade the FBI forever.
Don't say mission accomplished just yet, Garrus.
The sheriff is being overzealous, but she's kind of charming.
Watch out, Garrus. Female cops are the #1 hazard, especially the ones who like to hoodwink the rookies. You're good at electronics, right? You might be able to help me. In the charred room, there's a surveillance console. See if you can get it working.
Okay, I'm on it.
You haven't changed, Vic.
Neither of you, James. Still working the jeans and sneakers look?
I was never into uniforms. I can see that black's still your favorite color, huh?
So, you're working the TV angle now. I saw the tape with your interview.
I needed cash, that's all. Hernandez offered me a nice stack of bills. Remind me, what am I doing here?
We think our murderer is after you. The infamous East Coast killer, as the press calls him, wants you. You must be flattered.
And that's why you summoned me here? You could have just set a couple of big guys to keep an eye on my rather luxurious New York apartment.
I like to keep you where I can see you. Besides, you know our enemy. That's useful.
This whole thing is history. You know how I feel. Let's drop it. I'm going to pay a visit to this charming abode. See you later.
So, Vic, do you need to confide in your old friend Claire?
Do you have any details on Hawker? What's he been up to since the FBI canned him?
I did a little snooping. He's been doing small security jobs. Claims to be a security consultant. I called one of his employers. He described Hawker as the solitary type. Doesn't trust his co-workers. Also, a few investigators let me know that they had been contacted by Hawker. He asked them a number of questions about the killer's latest murders.
Hawker has supposedly revealed information about the killer to Hernandez. Clearly, to his mind, he's still on the case.
Seems like he's really developed a bit of an obsession over this. Be careful with him, Vic.
Before he snapped, Hawker was an exceptional agent. Hopefully he's kept his investigative skills. Don't worry, I'll be careful.
I have to go. Call me if you've got a problem.
Nice shack. A bit morbid, but it's got style. Have you found anything interesting in the house?
Clues proving Hernandez and the killer were both here recently, among other things.
This dump probably has a lot of secrets to reveal.
So, James, are you spending your retirement brooding over the past?
Not at all. I have a whole new life now. That whole thing is behind me.
Really? I heard you were continuing to investigate. And as far as I know, your social schedule is not what you'd call busy.
Don't start with me, Vic. Whose fault is it that I'm where I am? You betrayed me.
Some learn from their mistakes, James. Doesn't look like that's the case with you.
I admit, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have pulled the trigger. But I did it to further the investigation. You sabotaged that by denouncing me.
You know perfectly well that I wasn't the one who squealed to internal affairs. If I had, you would have been up for murder charges. All I did was refuse to cover up for you. You went too far, goddammit. Here, I'll profile you. You are egocentric, irresponsible, selfish, and paranoid.
And you are anal, rigid, authoritarian. And you've got the biggest mouth I've ever had the displeasure to encounter.
I could say the same about you. Can we talk? Listen, James, let's stop dwelling on the past. The killer is still out there, and this is our last chance of getting him as a team. Can we bury the hatchet? Paloma Hernandez may still be alive. She's counting on us.
Fine. We can't change what's happened anyway. So, this house is supposedly connected to the killer. I'm not surprised. It fits what I've been able to uncover. An isolated area far from the big urban centers. But it means the killer's gotta travel to go hunting. I've made a major breakthrough on the killer's psyche. He's totally obsessed with film and cinema, and particularly with the actress Veronica Lake. You could see it in his videos. I'm convinced that he chooses his victims following criteria linked to his obsession.
There's evidence in the house that suggests the killer went to film school. That would confirm your hypothesis.
It was by catching an old movie again that I made the connection. It has to do with very small background details. That's why we didn't see it before.
Well, I have a name. Our suspect's name is supposedly David Carson. Claire's trying to dig up something about him.
We'll end up getting him, Vic. After all this time, we're gonna get him.
I'm at an impasse with the computer in the cellar. Can you give it a look? You've always been a bit of an IT guru.
Okay, show me what the problem is.